What if the two people you trusted most destroyed you on the same night? I thought my wife and I were celebrating our anniversary. Instead, I opened the bedroom door and found her with my younger brother. And just when I thought the betrayal couldn't cut deeper, Hannah told me she was pregnant, but the child wasn't mine. This is the story of how love, family, and trust shattered in one night, and how I found the strength to survive when everything I believed in was gone. Everything I had planned, the perfect anniversary. I left work early, grabbed Hannah's favorite red velvet cake, and picked up the silver necklace she had hinted at weeks before. I imagined her smile the whole drive home, believing this night would bring us closer again. When I pulled into the driveway, my excitement stumbled. Jack's car was there, my younger brother. I smiled anyway, thinking maybe he was helping Hannah prepare something for me. Jack was always around, always helpful. The front door was unlocked. Inside, silence. Except for laughter upstairs. Hannah's laugh, but not the tired chuckle I'd grown used to. This was the full, joyful laugh that once made me fall in love with her. My chest tightened with hope. I climbed the stairs quietly, the cake box in one hand, the necklace in the other. I pushed open the bedroom door, and my world collapsed. Hannah was in bed, with Jack, my brother, my best man. The cake almost slipped from my hand. Jack's eyes went wide. Hannah froze. And me? I could only whisper one word. Broken, shaking. Seriously? The night I thought would save my marriage became the night it ended. Before the betrayal, Hannah and I had a love story people envied. We met at 17. She was the new girl in school, shy and quiet. I found her at lunch reading alone. I sat down and asked, "If I eat here too, will it make this table less lonely?" She laughed, and that laugh became my favorite sound. We grew inseparable. She came to my football games. I watched her sing in choir. On our first date, I spent all my weekend job savings on dinner. The food was cold, but we didn't care. We just laughed, talked, dreamed. Through high school, through college, through every test life threw at us, Hannah was there. She said she couldn't imagine a future without me, and I believed her. Looking back, maybe I believed too much, because the girl who once held my hand like I was her world became the woman I caught in bed with my brother. When Hannah and I married after college, Jack stood beside me as best man. He cracked jokes during his speech, saying he'd never seen me so nervous. Everyone laughed. My parents cried. Hannah's parents hugged me like a son. The first year of marriage felt like a dream. We moved into a small house with a garden. We danced in the kitchen, made pancakes on Sundays, fell asleep on the couch watching movies. We didn't have much, but we had love. Jack visited often. He'd fix broken pipes, help Hannah with the garden, watch games with me. I trusted him completely. I thought his presence was a blessing. If someone had told me then that the same brother I toasted at my wedding would one day destroy that marriage, I would have laughed in their face. But betrayal doesn't knock on the door. It walks in quietly, through the people closest to you. The changes came slowly. Hannah started locking her phone, saying it was just girl talk with Sophie, her best friend. She planned more girls' weekends. She laughed less at my jokes. She said she was just tired. I wanted to believe her. Jack's visits increased. Sometimes I'd come home to find his jacket on our chair. He'd say, "Just helping Hannah with the garage," or "She needed help moving boxes." I thanked him. I didn't see it then, but I was thanking the man who was already stealing my wife. One night, I woke up and found Hannah gone from bed. I found her in the living room, whispering on the phone. When she saw me, she hung up fast. "I couldn't sleep," she said. I told myself not to be paranoid. I didn't want to be the jealous husband. But in my chest, something heavy began to grow. Jack had a way of making people feel at ease. Hannah loved it. She said he reminded her of me, only more relaxed, more fun. At first I brushed it off, but then came the inside jokes I didn't understand. The secret texts, the way they fell silent when I walked into a room. One Saturday I came home early. They were in the kitchen, standing close, laughing at something. Hannah touched his arm, just for a second, but it felt like fire in my gut. I shook it off. He was my brother. She was my wife. My mind told me to trust. My heart whispered something else. If only I had listened. The little changes didn't stop. They grew. Hannah started dressing differently, wearing perfume she hadn't touched in years. When I asked, she said, "Every woman wants to feel good about herself." She guarded her phone like it was treasure. I joked about it once, and she snapped back. Some things are private. That stung. We used to share everything. Jack's presence was constant. If I came home late, his car would be in the driveway. His excuses piled up, fixing laptops, lifting boxes, keeping her company. I told myself he was being helpful. I told myself I was lucky to have a brother like him. But deep down, I felt the distance between Hannah and me becoming a wall. Every laugh, every secret look they shared added another brick, and I kept pretending not to notice, because admitting it would mean admitting my marriage was cracking. Hannah's excuses got stranger. One week she had late meetings. The next, she was volunteering at a charity event I had never heard of. When I offered to pick her up, she refused. Sophie will drop me off. But Sophie's name was starting to sound more like a shield than a friend. One evening, I accidentally called Sophie while trying to reach Hannah. She told me she hadn't seen Hannah in weeks. My stomach dropped, but I didn't confront Hannah yet. I wanted proof. Jack, too, was full of excuses. Every time I looked at him, I noticed how quickly he looked away. My own brother couldn't meet my eyes. The lies didn't match. Their stories didn't fit. And the more I watched, the more I realized the people I loved most were living a story I wasn't part of. It wasn't just me noticing anymore. My mom pulled me aside after Sunday dinner. Her voice was soft, but her words cut deep. "Austin, is everything okay with you and Hannah? And why is Jack always there?" I forced a smile, lied to her face. "We're fine." But my mother's eyes told me she didn't believe it. Even Ryan, my best friend, said something over drinks. "Man, I don't want to stir trouble, but your brother and Hannah seem close." I laughed it off, but his words burned. If outsiders could see it, then it wasn't just in my head. Still, I said nothing. I wasn't ready to hear the truth out loud, because once it was spoken, it would be real. And I wasn't ready for real. Not yet. Our anniversary was coming, and I made a choice. I would fight for my marriage. I booked her favorite restaurant, ordered her favorite cake, and bought the necklace she had admired in the shop window. I wanted her to remember who we used to be. I told her I'd be late from work that day, so I could surprise her by coming home early. She barely looked up from her phone when I kissed her goodbye. Still, I held on to hope. Hope that tonight, we could start over. That maybe, just maybe, the distance would fade. What I didn't know was that the very night I tried to save my marriage was the night I would watch it burn to the ground. That afternoon, I drove home early, heart racing with excitement. But as I turned onto our street, I saw it. Jack's car, parked in my driveway. The hope I carried cracked in half. My mind raced with excuses. Maybe he was just helping her. Maybe he was dropping something off. Maybe I was paranoid. I parked down the street, clutching the cake and necklace. The front door was unlocked. Inside, the house was silent. Too silent. Then I heard it. Upstairs, Hannah's laugh. Light, free, the way she hadn't laughed with me in months. I climbed the stairs slowly, my chest pounding so hard I thought it would break. I pushed the bedroom door open, and what I saw inside turned my anniversary into a nightmare I'll never forget. The door swung open, and time froze. Hannah, my wife, my partner, my everything. She was in bed and down with Jack, my brother, the person I had trusted since childhood. Their bodies tangled, their eyes locked like I didn't exist. The cake box nearly slipped from my hand. The necklace I bought for her felt like a joke. Jack's face went pale. Hannah gasped, clutching the sheets. My breath caught in my throat. The only word that escaped me was small, broken. Seriously? For a long, heavy moment, no one moved. Then Jack scrambled for words. "Austin, I didn't mean—" Hannah cut in, tears forming. "It's not what it looks like." But it was. It was exactly what it looked like. The night that was supposed to remind Hannah of our love became the night I realized she had already given it to someone else. I walked away before I exploded. Minutes later, I forced them into the living room. My voice shook, but my anger burned hotter with every word. "Why?" I asked Hannah first. "Why would you do this to me?" She looked down, trembling. "I was lonely, Austin. You were always busy. I didn't mean for it to happen." I cut her off. "Lonely? So you crawl into my brother's bed?" Then I turned to Jack. "You? My brother? You were supposed to protect me, not stab me in the back." Jack's head dropped, his voice small. I didn't know how to stop it. "I'm sorry. Sorry." That word again. It echoed in my head. Meaningless. I wanted to scream, to smash something, to shake them both until they understood the hell they'd put me in. But instead, I just sat there, my fists clenched, my heart shattered, knowing my family would never be whole again. For days, Hannah cried, repeating the same hollow words. "I'm sorry. I love you. It was a mistake." Jack tried too. I never wanted to hurt you, Austin. It just happened. But mistakes don't happen over months. Mistakes don't involve locked phones, hidden laughs, and nights away from home. This wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. 1,000 choices they both made behind my back. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every corner of the house felt poisoned. Every memory tainted. The places where we danced, laughed, kissed. Now all I could see were shadows of betrayal. I started to wonder how long it had been going on. How many times they had lied to my face. How many nights my own brother had been in my bed when I wasn't there. Every apology only twisted the knife deeper. 1 week later, Hannah sat me down at the kitchen table. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her voice shook as she whispered, "Austin, I'm pregnant." The world tilted. My chest tightened. I wanted to be happy. I had always dreamed of us starting a family. But now it felt like another weapon. "It's yours," she insisted, grabbing my hands. "I swear it's yours." But how could I believe her? I had walked in on her with my brother. I stared at her, my voice low and shaking. "Are you sure, Hannah? Are you absolutely sure?" Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Yes, please, believe me." But in my heart, I knew trust was already dead. And her words sounded like another lie I wasn't ready to swallow. When I told my parents, my mother broke down in tears. My father's face turned red with rage. He looked at Jack like he didn't even recognize his own son. Hannah's parents tried to defend her. "She made a mistake. She's young. Don't throw everything away over one slip-up." But even they couldn't look me in the eye for long. Ryan, my best friend, told me straight, "Austin, you need to protect yourself. Don't let their betrayal chain you down." But how do you protect yourself when the people you needed most are the ones who destroyed you? It wasn't just my marriage breaking anymore. It was my entire family, split apart by betrayal. And the baby Hannah carried? That was a question I couldn't escape, one that would decide everything. The days after Hannah's announcement dragged like years. I needed answers. I pressed her harder. And finally, the truth spilled out. She admitted it wasn't just one night. It had been going on for months. All those girls' weekends? Lies. All those nights she said she was working late? More lies. Jack had been there, every step of the way, comforting her, replacing me. I sat there in silence as she confessed, every word like a knife. I had been working extra hours, trying to give her the life she wanted, while she was sneaking around with my own brother. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't weakness. It was a decision. And they had made it over and over again, while looking me in the eyes and calling me family. The pregnancy hung over me like a storm cloud. Hannah swore the child was mine, but I couldn't take her word for it. Not after everything. "I want a DNA test," I said firmly. She burst into tears, begging me not to. "Austin, please, don't you trust me at all?" I almost laughed. Trust? Trust had been buried the night I opened that door. Jack resisted too, mumbling something about not making things worse. But I didn't back down. I needed the truth, no matter how much it hurt. The test was arranged, and waiting for the results felt like slow torture. Every day I wondered, was I about to become a father or a fool? When my parents found out about the DNA test, the tension exploded. My mom hugged me tightly, whispering, "Whatever happens, you'll survive this." My dad told Jack to leave the house until the truth came out. Hannah's parents shifted blame, saying Jack had taken advantage of her, while still insisting I should forgive. Their words felt like poison. Friends like Ryan checked in daily. He reminded me to keep my head clear, to remember my worth, but it was hard. Nights were sleepless. Days were filled with anxiety. The waiting wasn't just about a test result anymore. It was about whether my life had been a complete lie. The envelope shook in my hands. My heart thundered as I opened it, not the father. The words stared back at me, black ink that shattered whatever was left of my soul. I confronted them both. Hannah fell to her knees, sobbing. "Austin, please, we can raise this baby together. Pretend it's yours. Don't leave me." Jack buried his face in his hands. "I never wanted this. I'm sorry, bro. Please, don't cut me off." That's when the dam finally broke inside me. "You ruined my marriage. You ruined my family. And now you want me to raise your child?" My voice cracked with rage. "Get out. Both of you. Get out of my life." The silence that followed was heavier than any scream. It was the sound of a family being ripped apart forever. Months passed. The house was quiet now. Too quiet at first, but then peaceful. Hannah and Jack were gone, together, and the child she carried was his, not mine. The betrayal still burned, but slowly, I began to rebuild myself. I realized something important. Betrayal doesn't just break you, it changes you. It forces you to see who deserves your heart and who never did. I had lost my wife. I had lost my brother. But I hadn't lost myself. And if you've ever been betrayed like I was, remember this. You can survive it, even when it feels impossible. Because trust once broken may never return. But strength once found can never be taken away.
And that was Austin's story. Imagine planning the perfect anniversary, only to find your wife in bed with your own brother, and then learning the baby she carried wasn't even yours. Stories like this remind us, betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes, it comes from the people you die for. But here's the truth. Even when love and family fail you, strength doesn't. Austin lost his wife. He lost his brother. But he found something more important, himself. What would you do in his place? Would you walk away forever? Or try to forgive? Let us know in the comments below. And if this story shook you like it did me, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because more heartbreaking real-life confessions are coming your way on Lies and Regrets. Until next time, remember, love can lie, but the truth always finds its way out.